I've been playing Gretsch guitars for 2 years now, and in that span of time, models like this 5420 Electromatic have become some of my very favorite guitars, to the point where if you were to tell me that these were all I could play anymore in some bizarre world where things like that happened, I'd be a happy camper. So we're going to talk about all the things that I love about Gretsch guitars, what it was about them that charmed me into the point of being a borderline fanatic. Let's start off with some tone here, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. Follow the link below where you can hear these guitars on some actual studio recordings, which we will talk about in a minute. Here we go. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy. So today I'm going to talk about Gretsch Hollowbody guitars. Again, guitars like this 5420 and the other guitar that you're listening to, which is a 6120, which is essentially what this one is based off of. This is kind of like a budget level 6120. These are the Gretsch guitars that I've absolutely fallen in love with. The classic Gretsch Hollowbody. It just is absolutely iconic. It is oozing with Americana vibe and a classiness, but kind of a blend of a lot of things that I really like. Now, I talked about this in the review that I did of this guitar when I first got it. This was really my entry-level Gretsch electric guitar. For a long time, I thought, the people who play Gretsch guitars are mostly rockabilly guys, and I just don't know that I would use it that much. But then I finally took the plunge, and I'm very, very glad that I did, because it is something that actually suits me, and it's a guitar and a sound that goes far beyond just that rockabilly sound. You can really use these guitars for just about anything. They suit a whole range of genres, and they do it very, very well. And part of it is because of one of the first things that I love about Gretsch guitars. The Filtertron pickups are some of the most versatile pickups that I've ever played. They just sit beautifully in the middle. Many players talk about wanting to find something that's a blend between a humbucker and a single coil, right? Something that's a little fatter and more aggressive than a single coil, but something that has more top-end clarity and growl and maybe even twang than a humbucker would. These just fit the bill, and they do it in their own unique kind of way. Now, at one point, I made an amazing analogy where someone didn't return the time zone to the same place in the sacred timeline, and a branch reality went off where Gibson and Fender had a love child, and that was Gretsch. Now, since the Loki series has come out, I really need to update my MCU references. We're going to get the TVA in there somewhere. I don't know. I'm not going to go off on too much of a tangent here. But it's somewhere in the realm of that kind of middle ground. And one of the things that I love about it is it just covers all the territory that you want. They have a nice rich fatness to them. They have a great mid-range. They have a great punch and aggressiveness. But they also play clean beautifully. They do have a really nice clear top end that doesn't have any harsh overtones. And they have that kind of bit of twang and growl. Because of that, they suit a lot of different genres, even though, again, they've kind of been relegated to a few different genres. But this brings me up to the second thing that I love about Gretsch guitars. I find it amazing that this is one of the few guitars that's out there where you could play a totally classy black tie jazz event, and you could also play like a psychobilly event with exactly the same guitar without anyone blinking an eye. So before we talk about this any further, let's dive in with some tones just to show you the vast amount of versatility you can get with this, from jazz tones to finger picking tones to some heavier rock tones. Now, before we go any further, I do want to talk about what you're listening to today. Again, this is a Gretsch 5420T. This is a modern one. However, it is not all stock. It is loaded with a set of Righteous Sound Filtertron style humbuckers. This is a great set of pickups that they make now. This was a great guitar stock, but it's an even better guitar now. That's one of the things that I really like about the Electromatic series is I actually recorded a lead part on my latest album with this when it was stock. So it's a really great guitar stock, but you can take it even further if you want to get some kind of upgraded pickups or wiring for it. So that's one of the things that I love about this guitar. It gives you a lot to work off of. There's nothing about this guitar that I think feels cheap, plays great, sounds great. You're also listening to a 6120 59 Nashville. That was a limited edition one that has the Ray Butts Full Fidelity Filtertrons. We're playing some Wampler pedals, using the Wampler Belle for some overdriven tones, also using the Wampler Plexi Drive for some more aggressive tones, and one Keeley pedal using a Keeley Eccos for some classic Gretsch slapback. And today we are plugging into the amp right next to me here, Mr. Super. Mr. Super? That's a ridiculous name. That's so childish and stupid. Mr. Super doesn't like it when you use language like that. Super Reverb, absolute great pairing for these guitars. The sound just works. The Super Reverb is one of my favorite amplifiers, and it just really suits the Gretsch tone. Now, speaking of the versatility, I was showing you some of the really, really aggressive rock tones that you can get all the way down to sultry cleans that just everything about it just absolutely works. Brings me up to my next point. There's another genre in there that these guitars are perfect, if not overlooked for. So I might think that everything is secretly a blues guitar. That's neither here nor there. These guitars are absolutely perfect for blues, and it still amazes me that Gretsch guitars have been kind of snubbed in blues for the most part. There are certainly players who have played Gretsch guitars in blues, but they're definitely not a common blues guitar. I did a whole video on this, on why are Gretsch guitars not used for blues. One of the base reasons being that most popular artists in blues don't play them, and so then we're very, very much tethered to the gear that our influences use. That's why, for me, it was a big deal to kind of break out of the box and try Gretsch, because the only artist who would be a real influence of mine who used Gretsch Hollowbodies would be Brian Setzer, and as absolutely much as I love Brian Setzer, I don't play that style of music. So while he has been an influence on me, it wouldn't necessarily be a direct influence. He's just someone who really inspires me just because he's such a great player, great songwriter. But blues is such a perfect genre for these guitars. The style, the sound, everything about it just fits, and yet I still don't see many Gretsch guitars being played for blues. But because they're so perfect, let's check out a great Gretsch guitar blues tone with the 6120. I'm going to use the Wampler Belle for this tone. So listen to how perfect a blues tone this guitar can get. All of this is going to tie back to the versatility, and for the last thing that I want to share with you as to why I absolutely love Gretsch guitars. They are just some of the most perfect recording guitars that I have ever used because of the versatility and the character of the pickups, and you get that big resonant airiness to it, but with that beautiful top-end clarity. I can't say enough good things about it, such to the point where I used particularly my 6120 a lot in recording my last album, as well as this guitar. Now, you heard some of that at the beginning. Here's another cut of a clean tone that just came out everything that I wanted it to be when I recorded this song. I'm going to play a little snippet for you. I'm going to put links to these songs where you can actually hear these guitars on these actual songs. So check out what a just great, perfect, expressive recording tone. I mean, the whole thing you're listening to is recording. You know what I mean? This is the point that I'm making right now. Take a listen. So let us know what you think. Are you a Gretsch player? Do you want to be a Gretsch player? Do you play other models? Many of you know I did have briefly a Gretsch Electromatic Jet, the solid body that's kind of like a Les Paul shape. I no longer have that. That's not an indictment of that guitar. As someone who does guitar videos and someone who tries out a lot of guitar gear to hopefully get more experience and kind of have a clue what I'm talking about, I do trade and sell a lot. And basically, if I don't have nostalgic value connected to something, I try and be not too sentimental about stuff and move it along so that I can keep trying out different things, keep bringing you different videos and things. That Gretsch Electromatic solid body was a great guitar, definitely one that I would recommend, especially at the price point that it's at, but it is one that is no longer in my collection, certainly one that I would get again if the opportunity came up. I do just love the Hollowbodies. I think that they are something else. They're totally Gretsch, they're totally Americana, but they can do everything. Just a guitar that I've absolutely fallen in love with. Let us know if you're a Gretsch player, if you want to be a Gretsch player, what style do you have, what kind of music do you play with it? Let us know in the comments. I'm Jack Fossett. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Follow those links below and listen to the tunes. We'll see you next time.